Angry and broken. Have you ever felt angry? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good morning. My name is Ruben B. Boy. I hail from Liberia, proudly represented by this flag right behind me. From Liberia in West Africa. My icebreaker speech is centered around my personal experience and pains I have carried with me for many years. But in all my pains, I have learned to let go and forgive and not be broken. I grew up in a two-women family home. My mother, as tradition demanded, brought her mate, my father's second wife, in the home in an effort to save her marriage. But quickly, the situation changed, and my father turned his back on our mother and eventually on my mother's children, and we became strangers in our own home. In defense of my mother, I began to resent my father and his second wife. Quickly, anger grew within me. It consumed my thoughts and led me down a path of bitterness and resentment for years. My desire for revenge made me a prisoner of my own emotions, and I was trapped in a cycle of negativity that harmed me more than my father, whom I sought to revenge on. For years, I did not talk to him, neither did I relate to my brothers and sisters. But as the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, and months into years, I felt isolated, I felt incomplete, and I realized that something was missing and something had to be done. It was not until 2009 that I realized that something was missing and that I decided to look for the cause of what was happening, which was not far away from within. I called a family reunion meeting which involved my father and my siblings. Since that meeting, and coupled with my study as a doctoral student in psychology, my realization confirms the psychological construct and supported by Nelson Mandela of South Africa that 1, when we hold on to anger, we prison ourselves, just allowing others to dictate the actions to dictate our emotional well-being. 2, when we hold on to anger, we develop mental, psychological, and physical health complications that might lead to stress, anxiety, and even depression. 3, in the pursuit of vengeance, we often become the victim ourselves. My happiness for years was controlled by other people, by my own desire to see what was happening. However, if we want to take control of ourselves, we must learn to let go and forgive. Forgiveness brings us free from the burden that weighs heavily on our hearts and minds. It is a process of healing and letting go. Forgiveness allows us to reclaim our power and find peace within ourselves. By letting go of resentment, we freed ourselves from the toxic cycle of negative emotions, allowing space for healing, growth, and inner peace. In forgiving others, we tap into our higher selves, transcending the limitation of ego and embracing the transformative power of empathy and understanding. Forgiveness is not just a one-time thing. It's a continuous process and a journey. It requires patience, persistence, and practice. If I knew in my early life what I discovered later on, I would have been a different person and not allow my anger to make me who I really wasn't at the time. In conclusion, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, in choosing forgiveness, we reclaim our power, heal our wounds, and embrace the fullness of our being. St. Francis of Assisi admonishes us to radiate love where there is hatred, We must therefore learn to let go and forgive the wrong others have done us, because it is in forgiveness that we are forgiven. It is in loving that we are loved, and it is in caring that we are cared for. Thank you, Madam ToastMaster.